Welcome to today's show, Awakening Spiritual Gifts. We're here weekdays, 11 a.m. Mountain, answering your questions on all things energy, spiritual gifts, intuition, health, blocks, challenges. Even people ask questions like, can you just see what comes up for me? General readings. So we're happy to be here. We're thankful for all of you that are watching here live and also on the replay. So, per our tradition every day, we look at the daily energy. And this is so fascinating. I can't wait to see what's going on, Martina.
Me too. I haven't looked yet. So especially it's like this story arc that's unfolding every
Yes.
day, and to see what's going on in the world and how it's affecting us. And then all of a sudden to understand, oh, that's why so many of us are feeling certain things at the same time. So,
Or that's why my kid is acting the way she or he is, right?
right. So true. So true. Okay. So let's look at the energy of the day. What's going on? Okay, in a way, just looks a little bit similar to yesterday. Those winds of change, as we've been describing them, with some of the kind of the gold and the the white and the gold, and very kind of opalescent look to the um, pattern there. It just kind of looks like that wind. It's still staying there. It's still not increasing in like gusts of winds, but it is definitely still there, just still blowing things away. I still see some like debris or like ash or dust of things that it may have uprooted or burned down or destroyed, but I just see some of this dust still blowing away. And honestly, that in a way that's stronger than it was. So if you've been experiencing like a lot of these uprooted things, oh, sorry, hold on. No, didn't mean to do that. Anyway, but if you're continuing to feel those and they're increasing in intensity, just to understand that that's what it's doing. This wind, especially with the coloring there, it is very divine. It is a gift. It's a gift from God. Let's help move some of these things out, make way for these higher frequencies. And so even if it's painful, you can kind of lean in and just have gratitude for what it is sweeping out, to make room for better things. Let's see what else is going on here. I don't know what this is. There's some kind of it's like I'm seeing and like hearing a call or like a message that's coming through. I'm trying to see where that's coming from. Okay, I don't have all the specifics of where it's coming from, but there's a little bit of a message in the distance. It feels like a unifying voice, or like a voice calling out. I almost want to say like the image that it's bringing to my mind, as if other countries are coming together. So like a foreign country is coming in and asking for help and talking about issues, and then your own personal country is answering it, and then connecting and finding some solutions and answers there. But it also can feel a bit like a message coming in from the other side, like, hey, listen, it's not right in the ears yet, but it's like a faint sound, and this message is coming closer. So I would love, if I forget to check on that particular energy, especially because it's kind of far off in the distance, maybe remind me on that, Christy, because that's I want to know what that message is. I want to know who specifically is sending it. It's like it's not time to know that yet, but there is definitely something coming in the distance, and the clues there are just bringing like issues to the table. Here, we've got to help. Hey, let's unify and find some answers. So I'd be really, really interested to know what that is, and especially if it's related to living, or if it's on the other side, if on the other side we're receiving a message as well.
Sounds good. I'll be sure to to do that. All right. So let's see. We've got an anonymous person that wrote in. Let's go there first. And if you've got kids watching, maybe turn it off. I'm just saying, like, you might have to ask questions or answer questions you might not want to, and you can come back and watch later. I just wanted to throw that out there because, mommy, what's that word? Just saying,
Oh.
giving you a chance to turn it off, right? Okay. All right. All right. Here's the anonymous question. My husband is recovering from a pornography addiction. I put on weight as a protection and struggle with depression. Is there something specific that I need to do to put it behind me?
Yeah, this is quite a meaty question. Um, and so there's a couple impressions that are coming in, and then also I'm going to look very specifically at your energy, anonymous, to see what comes up as far as healing it, moving on, how it's maybe manifesting as a protection and weight or even depression. So let's just see which comes up here first. So hold on just one moment. Let me look at it. Okay, so there's different. Oh, sorry, my microphone is a little dangly. I'm not at home because I'm still on vacation, so I don't have my typical microphone. Anyway, okay, so there's a couple different things. One of the first things that comes up is that there could be some things that you could some connections and things to understand in the mind about how it works and or how and why it comes up. I know sometimes there's definitely been research about the difference between different things that people find arousing, right? And what they're attracted to. And sometimes when looking at porn, it's not a personal issue, but it can feel like a personal issue. Like it can feel very much like, well, what's wrong with me? Are you not attracted to me? Is it's just like, if that's what you want, if you're wanting all these other women that are just looking like they're made for sex, and I'm just over here like, you know, pregnant and stretch marks and stuff like that, it can make you feel really less than. So just to kind of understand, and I think this understanding can go both ways and I don't even just want to put labels on it for just men or just women, because honestly, women can do the same thing. Like it just, for whatever partner is it perhaps looking, and also the one who is having their partner look like, I think just some conversation about understanding the other person's point of view, seeking to understand how it feels, I think that could really be helpful. And then understanding um, perhaps what that level of pornography was doing for that person. Like what level of addiction was it? Was it, curiosity, just some stimulation, variety, or is it actually um, you know deep down? So and I don't know how long ago, like right off the bat, it was. But those are some things to kind of acknowledge, just to kind of understand and to try to put yourself in the other person's shoes and to see it from their view so it doesn't feel so personal. Um, but then also to feel like you're being heard and understood. There's also some really great things to understand about and to learn and kind of acknowledge about human sexuality. This is one of those topics that, because it can be such a personal and even like a sacred thing between your marriage, and also it has thousands of years of people's opinions and beliefs, and it could have truth mixed in with people's fears, shaming, guilt. There's sexual crimes. Like there's so much in just sexuality for humans that it's really important to also just try to look at it. And even I've definitely like prayed and asked to be taught, like, teach me some of the divine ways of sexuality, because there's so much, like my parents and grandparents, like how many generations have been teaching false, these false traditions. And then you get into a marriage, and I remember, heck, when I was first married at 18, feeling like guilt that I was like, I'm like, but I'm married, and yeah, I'm still feeling guilty. It was just kind of having to shed off some of those false things that were taught to me. So it could be really beneficial to even just understand human sexuality, and also to understand that there are different types of arousal things, and this is really great for a couple. I know there's different things out there that you can look up. I know there's like even like one called like Erotic Blueprint or something. I've enjoyed that one, where it just talks about, maybe there's some people that like things a little bit more romantic. Some people just like to get to the point. It's just like a straight visual of it helps. Some people, it's more about the emotion and spiritual connection. Some people, it's a little bit more like, hey, let's be a little naughty and that's fun. And some people have those connections more deeply. And sometimes other people have the connections elsewhere, and things with intimacy are considered more like the fun and playful. So just to understand what your partner, where they're at, and to have those open conversations is so important. But then also on the same time, and to understanding that there could be a lot of those false, or those traditions, those beliefs, not only a lifetime of experiences and possible shame around it, but also generational things that are coming down through. Being able to discuss those things. And I would say that one of the most powerful things with healing any of these wounds, with sexuality, and with for our own wounding, and even like in this situation where you're struggling with what your husband had done, but it can still be there for both of you, and that's to just release some of the shame and guilt around it. Can we just release that? Like, the shame is such a constrictive and oppressive energy. The moment there's shame, it can actually encourage more addictive behavior, more self-destructive patterns, more depression, more self-worth, more destructive patterns for you too. So if you can get to this place where it can just be super objective and loving, and just be like, let's just release this all and just see it, like, ask even to receive the truth of that, can be really, really helpful. But again, it's a sensitive thing, so just understand that there might be layers to it. um, and one of the other things too that kind of feels and is coming up is getting to a place, and I can definitely feel how this can almost feel isolating and a little bit lonely, but there's a place to learn to love yourself independent of what other people think or do, or even treat you like. And that's it's when it's a spouse, it's like you desire that connectiveness with them, but that sometimes it actually is best to heal yourself first. I actually think that almost like in every scenario, really, it's a matter of, and I know I've mentioned this before, but it's overcoming that realm of dependency or codependency, like relying on the other person to feel good about yourself, to becoming, the next level is to become healed and whole individuals and independent, so that when you're coming together, then you're interdependent. You're then now choosing each other as that healed, whole individual that loves themselves and knows who they are, knows what they're going for in life. And then, hey, I've got a partner that's running on the same path with me. Now let's link hands and we can co-create together in the healthiest way. So all of us have to go through some, maybe we're more healthy and healed and whole in one area, but maybe there's some areas where we still have some dependency or codependency that we have to work through. And this is a process. Like, I can still identify things that I'm doing, even though I've known this for years and years and been working on my own healing and elevating my progress there. But so that could be something for yourself, is to look at, where are you dependent on him for your happiness and your approval and all of that stuff. You also can look through any childhood patterns, any patterns with men in general, any dating, boyfriends, kids, fathers. Like, look for some patterns throughout your family lineage. You can just kind of just start identifying some of these patterns and unraveling some of those beliefs that could be intertwining with believing that you are worthy, beautiful, sexy, lovable, healed, and whole, and just being able to be dependent of those. And it can take time and be a process. So if anything, I also want to just mention to you to have a lot of grace and patience with yourself as you're going through this. Weight is absolutely a protection. So looking at that, why would you feel like why would you have to be protected from feeling sexy? Why would you have to be protected from having a thin body? What is that bringing to you, like safety wise? Um, and I have a feeling it's probably more than just him, because it's like we got all these layers from a whole lifetime of it. But if that was truly a catalyst moment for putting on weight, why did that one feel so unsafe? Kind of just some deep diving there. And then let's just look very specifically at your energy. I mean, I kind of am. I've already been kind of just picking up pieces, but I want to look very specifically at your energy. I see your heart, really good desires. I'm seeing some energy in your mouth, and this is kind of interesting. It's like, so I'm sensing perhaps that there's maybe more that you're hungry for, or that you have a taste in your mouth for something more in your relationship. And maybe if you could address that, like where else are you feeling unsatisfied and want more connection in your marriage? And when you have that, can some of these other elements ease up? Um, It could also be related to some things that you haven't been able to say. Now, this is something really also powerful to just kind of understand the way that we heal and learn. And I feel like this could actually apply to a lot of different things for everyone listening and watching right now. And this is to remember that men typically like to heal in a very linear fashion. They just want to go forward. Okay, that's behind us now. What can we do moving forward? Women, the way that they typically heal and progress is to go, they go in cycles. They'll go along and then they have to almost circle back for things. Oh, I remember when this happened, and they feel all the feels, and then they can move forward during that. If there can be some kind of understanding there that, and sometimes it could be the opposite switch. It's just more like the mental process of this type of, like, definitely like generalizing here. But if there can be some kind of safe space to revisit, but you also don't want to sit and spin and go backwards too. But if you can process a little bit, like revisiting it, and then if it's handled in a very loving and gentle way, it can actually catapult the woman farther forward in the future. It's like, if it's handled poorly, then it could possibly make the woman kind of sit and spin and want to go backwards to revisit it more. So if you can just address it and it's a great conversation, and if it feels safe and loving, then it can fly forward. And then the next time you cycle back, it may not be as much. And then the next one, maybe not as much, but it can just keep slingshotting you forward. So again, depending on how long ago it was, and you still have that, maybe there's some old conversations that you'd like to discuss that maybe he's already moved on for, but it just feels relevant to go there. And then with the other thing too, to also not dismiss, is your own intuition on if it's still taking place. Like you said recovering, but if it's still there, but now, like if it was a big blow up and he perhaps doesn't want to hurt you, also to create that safe conversation space that he can come and talk to you, and there's not these gigantic emotions with tons of pain. If you can try to set a situation up to talk about it too, that would also help. So just to remember that you do have your intuition and can lean into that and pick up when things are going wrong. And then let's see here. Okay, I can see like some of the experiences that you had from this, but then also some other things in there too. Perhaps even teachings. There could be, like I said, family, church, like any of those little teachings. But some of those things around the beliefs around it have really shut things down. And I see it kind of just coming down into like a triangle, pushing you down all the way. So one way to learn to love yourself and to let some of this out is to fully express yourself, not for anybody else except for you. How can you feel more alive? How can you feel sexier? not for just pleasing someone else, but for you as a woman, what can bring you that joy and to unleash all of your parts of yourself that you're shutting down based on some of these old, like lock it down beliefs. So anyway, I know that was kind of a long answer, but I feel like this is important. I feel like a lot of people have stuff like this that they're working through. So very sensitive question, but thank you for asking it. Thanks for being brave. And thank you all for watching that big long answer. I hope it was able to help some of you.
Yeah, it was definitely a brave thing to ask. So thank you for asking that. Okay, so let's go to Marissa. I'm wondering if you could give me insight into my mission. I've been working on it, but not making much progress. I feel like I'm in a hold pattern or something like that.
Great question, Marissa. And welcome. Let's look at that energy for you. Hold on, I'm going to draw this one. Let's see here. Okay, Marissa. So I see some energy coming through and like in your eyes. And it's kind of funny, but I'm almost seeing like these like wood block shapes, or they almost look like little loaves of bread too, but they're like this white, like little blocks of wood. And it's coming out of your eyes when I'm thinking about your mission. And so part of that is telling me that there's a certain way that you may think that your mission is supposed to look. Like, oh, for me to live my mission, it's going to have these elements and I'm going to be building this XYZ with it. And it just has a lot of already preconceived structure to it. But then I see a lot of things also going on in the background. So one thing that I would even recommend is just to start opening up new perspectives to what else could there be that is evidence of you already living on your mission. Just because it may not be like actively pursue, there could be a timing thing. It could be like I've mentioned this before on some calls, but it's like there's always that like exhale and then there's an inhale. There's a time for a rest and there's a time to do. And so definitely don't misjudge any of your timing or pulling in. If it's a time to pull in and you're like reading and pondering and all of that stuff, it's not going to have as many results to see physically, but it's just as important. It can feel frustrating. Like sometimes when I'm in creation mode, I'm like, I just want to be doing, but it's time to pull in, time to create, and time to evaluate. So definitely, I would say look around and see evidence. How are you actually doing exactly what you're doing your mission? You're already doing it. You just may not know it or see it. And then also too, some of those elements, I feel like there is something specific that you're going to be doing. And I can see that there's like elements around that it could be a timing, but it also feels like there's just some things that are not ready yet. And so you're just focusing on building your portion. And when these other elements are there, then it will move forward. So that feels almost like a project or something specific for you. Also to remember that you accomplishing your purpose and fulfilling your mission is first and foremost a place of being who you were created to be. And just like aligning yourself to that. And there feels like there's parts of yourself that are still kind of hidden or unknown or even dismissed, like maybe little pieces of your heart that would bring you joy and feel like that's part of your mission and you've kind of shelved it or put it off to the side. So I would maybe just recommend even doing some self-reflection. What are those parts or the pieces that you've forgotten or shelved? And they're part of the big picture and part of the whole. And I know this is so crazy. I'm not trying to like, here's major sales plug right here. But I'm like, this question right here in our Intuition Gym membership, we are literally diving in for a quest for purpose right now. And we're going into a lot of different elements for purpose and mission and what that looks like and stuff. So if you're like, I really would love some support on finding my next step for my mission and what that even looks like, that would be a great place for you to be right now. We're just literally, we just had our pre-departure week last week, and it's our first week. It's a 40-day little quest that we're doing within our membership area. So yeah, that'd be awesome to have you in there, and it would totally help support that question.
Cool. All right. And then also just another plug. Marissa is actually already a member, so we're grateful for you to be a member, Marissa. But for anyone else that was listening here, definitely what Martina just said. And we actually have a really special bonus right now. It's called the Super Sleuther, and you can learn to discern. So this is a really fun, intuitive discernment method, and we're going to be gifting it to all the people who joined this month in the Intuition Gem. And if you're already a member, you'll get it too, of course. So you'll want to go to theintuitiongem.com/join, and you can check that out. Okay, let's go to the next question. We've got Felicia. She says, can I have a general reading? I feel like I've been stuck a little lately, generally stuck.
Hi, Felicia. And also, I'm so sorry, Marissa. I totally, you're already a gym member. I'm sorry. I think you're one of the new members we've had, and I have not talked to you much lately. So sorry about that, Marissa. It must have been for someone else too. Like it just felt like mention it right there. So I love that. And maybe I'll see you on the quest call tonight. All right. So Felicia, let's look at your energy again. I'm going to draw for you. Let's see. Let's look at you. Okay, so Felicia, I'm seeing there's like a cloud of emotions that are coming up for you. It's like this little cloud that's just kind of weighing on your mind, and it's just like kind of starting to sink down onto you. So it feels a little bit heavy. It feels like it might be affecting some of your thoughts or the things you're dealing with, your eyes, like maybe the way that you're seeing the world. It just feels a little foggy, like and it's just like made up of a lot of these emotions. Sometimes when we get in this little mode of trying to be positive thinking and try to just be positive and kind of muster through things and put on a happy face, then we are ignoring some of those emotions and they can grow. So I feel like you've got a great I think like your natural state, like when I look at this, your natural state is to be a happier, optimistic person. Like it loves, like I see your personality, your energy, it just like loves peace, it loves love, it just wants happiness. And so the fact that you're feeling this is just feeling particularly heavy. I could also be feeling a collective emotions. Like maybe you pick up emotions from loved ones around you, or even just you've got this antenna up that's picking up the emotions of people that may be having a hard time in general in the world, and you've kind of picked up some of that and feeling it. So I would definitely lean in and definitely have the courage to look at some of those emotions and to feel what they are. If you've got to cry, cry. If there's journaling, if there's yelling, if there's screaming, like whatever these emotions are, take some time for yourself to work through them and to feel them. I also feel like there's components here where if you're familiar with the Ho'oponopono, which is the Hawaiian, four step thing, but basically it's to go through and say, like, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, and I love you. I'm saying those four things. And I feel like there's some of that you could do for others, but I also feel like that would be really powerful to do for yourself. It feels like you've got some really great desires on wanting to do good things and wanting to do the best things, and then feeling like you're not measuring up. And so some of those thoughts could be like kind of picking on yourself. And so forgive yourself for any shortcomings. And in fact, know that, like, perhaps even get to the point where you can celebrate and cheer for anything that you feel like you failed at or feel those mistakes, because those are part of the journey too. In fact, they're almost more important than when things go well, because that's when your most valuable lessons are. And so some of that gratitude for yourself, like, oh, I'm sorry, please forgive me, forgive yourself, the gratitude for it all, and then just to love yourself for it all. If I had to pinpoint the number one thing from my whole entire like self-worth journey, I mean, this was like 20 years ago, but I had a very strong moment, and it took me years to work through it. But it's all started from this one experience, one night where I was literally apologizing and praying to God, or actually yelling at him and just saying, I'm sorry, I'm such a screw up. Just take me away from this earth. Like, just poof me away. And I just had a moment where it was just telling me, like, who you are is not what you've done. And then I started like saying all the things, well, yeah, well, I'm not doing this good enough and this good enough and this good enough. And it was like repeated, who you are is not what you've done. And it also extends, it's not what we do, it's not what we look like, it's not what we have, it's not how beautiful we are, successful, who likes us. Our worth is so independent than all of that. And so if you can get to that place where can you love yourself and feel like, and see things that you're not doing as well, like all of that is really like it's one of those things that like we say that we can do, but to like really really understand what that looks like is to catch those thoughts and to release them and to not beat yourself up too hard for them. It's just like, okay, I can forgive because it's not who I am. I can forgive others because it's not who they are. Like, we are just these human beings in this human experience. um And then also, I feel that heart energy, beautiful heart energy. I love your heart, Felicia. But it also, something about that also wants to come out through the mouth. So there's some kind of speaking up for yourself, expressing how you feel. There's a really important component right now. And I feel like if you can just work through some of those, just get some of those going, just get some of it locked out that's been locked up, just let some of it out, and it'll start getting things unstuck. So
Yeah, let us know in the comments, Felicia, how that resonated with you. And let's see. It looks like we are going to wrap for today. If you guys have any questions that you think of later, you can always message our page, or you can put comments down below. Felicia responded. She said that was really helpful. So let me put her comment up there as well. And then, as far as if you received an answer today, or if you feel like there's someone that comes to your mind that this would really benefit, feel free to tag them in the comments or share the post with them in Messenger, or even just put it out publicly on your profile, or invite people to like the page, like any or all of those ways. And definitely, if it resonates with you, we'd love to have you as a member of the Intuition Gym. We have that Super Sleuther bonus, which is an intuitive discernment method so that you can sift through truths from partial truths and lies as well. We'll have the eyes to see the lies. So we're grateful for you guys, and we'll see you again tomorrow, Thursday, 11 a.m. Mountain Standard Time.
see you soon, everybody. Love ya.